Hello, everyone. Good morning to all of you here in California, and also a good evening to our guest and speaker in Holland. So we have an international presence, which is really exciting. And so I came across Rita Hilhorst through a dear friend of mine, Lisa Haddad, and she was saying this workshop is just wonderful. And I said, okay, I'll take a look at it. Well, I planned on just listening for 5 minutes and I stayed for the whole session. It was really wonderful. And so I, of course, put in a request to Rita to come and give her workshop to us here in San Francisco Bay Area. And I think there's some of you all the way from Canada, Vancouver and Los Angeles. But we'll get to know each other a little better as we go along. Now, Rita Hilhorst is a PhD. She's a child and family psychotherapist in Holland. She has a great passion for children's mental health. So she has done a lot of service for young people internationally. She's hosted a lot of conferences. So it's a real desire for her to see our next generation healthy. She's also been a Raj Yoga meditation teacher and meditator for 30 years. She works as a psychologist in a healthcare center and for a child protection organization there. And as I said, she's organized a lot of international and national conferences on the integration of spirituality and healthcare. So the emotional liberation course has been presented in many countries in Latin America, the Netherlands, Italy, Spain, Ghana, India, and here in America. So I'd like to give a warm welcome to Rita and welcome everyone once again. So the floor is yours, Rita.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, and much love from the Netherlands. This workshop is about emotional liberation, and we're going to talk about 7 tools that process emotions. And those 7 tools have a deep connection with each other. And all those tools you can do yourself. So during this workshop, you can already process it in yourself. However, what we are going to do is to be in tune with your own heart, but also with your damaged heart. To do this, however, there is one step we have to do first, and that is the step of identity. How do we think about ourselves? What is your self-perception and what is your human image about yourself? Do you think positive about your identity or negative? I had one man who came to me and he said, "Oh, Rita, it's for me so difficult to step into myself." And of course, I asked the question, why? Why is it so difficult? And then he said, I have the feeling, I have the idea that inside myself, it's a total mess. There's only sorrow in myself. But if we think like that man, then it's very difficult to develop the power of introvertness that is needed to have that journey within. And I always say the way out is the way in. But sometimes we don't do that and we escape. And in the world, in whatever country I've been to, there are a lot of escape mechanisms. We will do a practice about it later on. The second tool is the relationship with yourself. Very important one. And if I'm talking to you, then I'm only saying things of emotional liberation, because the relationship with yourself, you can say many things about it, but only two things are important if you want to process your own painful emotions. And it has to be a very smooth process. It has to be very easy inside yourself. What is bothering me? What is bothering you? Just to let it come up. What is bothering you? But equally important for emotional liberation is, what do you value about yourself? So don't go into that limited lane of what is bothering you, what is painful, or what do I think is not right in myself. But to have equal attention on both. What is bothering you? But also, what do I value about myself? And to value about yourself, don't think that it has to be something big, that you have attributed to peace in the world, but it can be also something that happened today or yesterday, that you think, yes, I helped that person, or I have a garden and I was aware of my neighbor and I planted roses. Instead of the weed is growing enormously. So a small thing that you did yourself, and then it's important to value it. So this second tool is very important. Why? Because it has the golden key to emotional liberation. Sometimes we give too much attention to a negative thing about ourselves, but we have to learn to really have a broad vision, an unlimited vision about ourselves, not the acquired emotions only, but what is intrinsic in ourselves. What is our value? What is our quality, the qualities of the soul? So that's the second tool. What I want to say about emotions, if we don't process them, do you think that if we don't process emotions, that they are gone? No. There is a process of that we can fixate emotions, fixated emotions. We lock them up. And we can do that on two levels. We can do it on a subtle level, on the level of the mind, thoughts, and we can do it on a cell level. So that means the body, our organs. I will tell you about two clients of mine, just to illustrate how you can do that, to lock up emotions in yourself. There was one man who came to me and he said, "Oh, Rita, I have such a problematic life. I had a very dominant father, and I talk about it with my colleagues, with my wife, but because I want to solve it, so I talk about it. But now they don't want to listen anymore to me. I don't get it solved. So I even have problems in my working place because they don't want to listen to me any longer." Maybe we can recognize this. I'm sure we recognize this, that we keep on repeating our own pain to others. So that is to lock emotions on a subtle level. I hope you understand this. To lock emotions on a subtle level, that means repeating in your mind. You continue to have your own story again and again. And of course, it doesn't solve it. It doesn't solve it. It's repeating. And actually what we are doing is we make that groove in our own soul deeper. So that is very important to understand. If you cannot say, okay, painful emotion, it happened and it's gone, because it's not. The second level to fix emotions on a cell, to fixate, to lock emotions up on a cell level, is more severe, because then it is happening on a body, on your body. I will explain that also. There was one client, a boy who had heart problems. And he came to me and he said, I have so much tension and my heart is really, I have heart rhythm disturbances. So, and what I do then, if a client comes to me with this story, I explore it a little bit. So, okay, can you say what is really exactly the point in this? And then he began to talk about his mother and his father, and he said they quarreled so every night. You know, I was a little boy, I was laying in my bed, and I heard the quarreling between my mommy and my dad, and I was so afraid. I could not sleep. I was laying in the dark and I was really tense. I thought maybe my father will hit my mother. And then in the daytime, he wanted to protect, as a little boy, he wanted to protect his mother. But of course, he couldn't. And now this boy, years later, came to me with tensions in his heart. And during this conversation about his parents, his hand touched his heart. And then he felt this tension, what I had then. I was so afraid. It is still there. I have it. I have that pain in my heart. And that is very crucial and very important in a positive way, because if we can open emotional pain and we have that link with our body that you can see, I have it, I've locked it in my heart. In this case, it was in his heart. Then we can open it up. And he did. And it's a wonderful story. He could talk about it, and he talked with his brothers about it. And they even had a session together. What did my mother do right? What did my father do right? So it's like a network of positive feedback that they gave to each other. If I think back to that man that had that subtle fixation in his mind about his dominant father. He felt worthless about it because his father was saying, you cannot do anything right. You are really stupid. So he felt worthless. And he did repeat that to what I said to his colleagues, to his wife. Is that possible? We do it. But is it possible? Where is our responsibility for our own lives? For where is our creation power? Are we a victim? Where is the mastery? So that brings me to the third tool. and that is to take a decision. I asked many people this, in groups also. When is it enough that we say, oh, my father this, oh, my mother this, husband? When is it enough? I think that in our life we can see, and many had such a moment, that you really can see, I don't want it anymore. This repetition of my pain, talking about it, not solving anything. I even feel more sad about it. So I understand, of course I understand that sometimes it takes a long time. And in Holland, in the Netherlands, we say, if you are with your back at the wall, then it happens that you say, okay, now stop. And the people who did it, that really said, okay, enough is enough, made a very, very important transformation. So the importance of the intellect, because we are talking now about our intellect, to use your intellect in this way and to stop it. We are able to do it. But we have to be more aware of the power of the intellect, that we can say, okay, stop it, stop. I want to live, because it's a decision you make, but also a decision to really live. Sometimes we have that suffering and it takes too long. You know, we make our lives a little bit in a black way, but we have a lot of colors, and we can use them. And how many colors do you want to add? That's a personal decision. How worthy do I feel myself? And I want to say one thing more. My experience, but also the experiences of clients, is that if we do this journey, then there are so many benefits. For me, the understanding of myself became so deep and so wonderful to say, you know, the understanding for your own history, for your own future. But also, what is also a very important point is self-trust. Self-trust became very, very increased a lot. And of course, on the basis of self-trust, that's the foundation of self-love. So the journey has a lot of benefit. It's not that, oh, let's see, no, not at all. It's a very beneficial journey, an inner journey. So take a decision out of love for yourself, self-compassion. And that's another thing. I think that also the attitude with which we do this process can be one of compassion. You know, our emotional pain is acquired, but our true personality, our ancient personality, is always there. But what we do most of the time is to go in that limited lane. But if we dive more into ourselves, then there is the blueprint of our beautiful personality. And that's a healing factor. Both are the healing factors. Not to escape emotions, but to feel them. So we are doing now self-reflections. And the first one is, what are my escape mechanisms? That is also very important, because we escape. I've been to many places in the world. And there are mega possibilities to escape. And they can be very mild, like eating too much chocolate, or again, Nike shoes, or again, this and this and this. But it can also be very severe. For instance, the addictions, alcohol, drugs, whatnot. But also suicidal thoughts. If you don't face your pain or feel it, there are escapes. And really to be in tune with your heart, I want to ask you, what did you use? What is your escape route? There can be one, but there can also be more. So 2 minutes, we will have music, and then think about it. What did I do? Okay, thank you. It's really an honest encounter with ourselves. And then we get another self-reflection, the second one. And that is about that second tool. So what is bothering you? And what do you value about yourself? Just name one aspect of yourself, what is bothering you, but also name one aspect for yourself, what do you value about yourself, so that we can learn that we are not only that weakness or whatsoever, but also to build up that value system, that blueprint that is already there. We have so many things that we can do right or good or valuable. So to have that attention. Again, we have 2 minutes of music, and then let's see what is bothering me and what do I value about myself. Okay. Thank you again. Valuable time. And then after this third point, we get 4, and that is called power. Maybe you realize that if we like that subtle level, that fixation, we get in the soul a kind of record that is can be very deep, like a groove. And it becomes a pattern, a very, very strong pattern. So we need power to break that. That's also a very important part of emotional liberation. We need power. So we need meditation, or meditation is also a very crucial factor in processing emotions. And I want to do a meditation only on power, just as an idea, and you can do it, of course, by yourselves in your home. But I will do now, together with you, a meditation just on power, with a focus to break that pattern, because else it comes up every time. So this is also very important, this fourth one, to really build up that inner power, but also willpower. And we need willpower to open up our lives, to become, that shining star, let's say. Okay, a meditation on power. I'm sitting in a relaxed manner, and I am just with myself, no one else. I'm here with my own heart, with my own story. And I visualize myself in my true form of light. I am subtle energy, creative energy. I am the life force of this body. Without me, the soul, this body cannot do anything. And in myself, in the soul, is everything I ever did. Everything is recorded. My past, my present, but also my elevated future. And I feel that with these pure thoughts, the speed of my mind is slowing down. I feel the space between my thoughts. And I also feel that there is so much space in myself. And I listen. I feel the stillness and peace in myself. And when my mind is in this condition, it's easy for me to travel with my consciousness, with my pure feelings and thoughts. I am subtle energy, eternal energy, and I'm going upwards with the power of my thoughts, beyond this planet, through this galaxy, and I am attracted to a region of peace. I see myself in my true form of light, shining light, light. And I am surrounded by a red golden light. And I feel that my heart is opening up. In this region of peace, it's not possible for negativity, fear, betrayal, or whatsoever to enter. This is a pure world, a world I know very well. It's also in my heart, the power of purity. And I feel that there is power in myself, pure power, a power that is able to give. And close to me, I see another soul, just like me, shining light. And I feel the rays of light and might coming towards me. And I fill my heart with this energy. And I also recognize it. These are also my characteristics. I have a heart that is full with light and might. I want to say one thing about power. And of course, when we talk about emotions, sometimes we talk about it, but emotional healing is very experiential. So everything, all the tools, also now core emotion, what we are going to talk about, it is about experiencing it. I've been a psychotherapist for many, many years. And a long time ago, I was also talking with clients. But this is really not it. Not at all. It's about experiencing and feeling, because then you get the cluster you want to have. Very important. So core emotion is also about that. Core emotion is not what we find with Google about core emotions. Core emotion is really very individual and it's very personal. So everyone has a core emotion. There are more than hundreds emotions, and everyone has one. It can be betrayal, rejection, not hurt, anger, whatever. It can be any emotion, but you only know it yourself. You are the expert of your life. I cannot say this often enough. We are the experts of our life. No one can say, oh yeah, I think it is this and this and this. No. We know it, we feel it in our heart. Yeah, now this is it. And sometimes we see someone with that when we feel it. We are going to do a meditation on core emotion just now. And that's also all right. So what is important in this meditation, what we are going to do just now, is to feel it, to let it come up, because everyone has it. And it's not an emotion that you have to go to the past, because an emotion is triggered in day-to-day life. You know, for instance, if you get an email and you see some critical remarks about you, it can happen, then already that core emotion can be triggered. You feel possible, you feel rejected, or they don't understand me. So you know what it is. So it can be triggered in day-to-day lives. Important to realize, because there were a lot of people who were just exploring this 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Not necessary at all. Not necessary at all. We feel what is really that thing that is coming again and again. It's like a shadow. We can say it like that. It's like a shadow that's following us. And it will continue to follow us if we don't say, oh, Rita, oh, Elizabeth, sit down, sweet, sweet, sweet soul. That's an important time in your life. Sit with yourself. Sweet, sweet you, what's the matter? No escapes anymore. Not necessary. Just honest with yourself. And then, because I asked this also in groups, also in Italy, and also in the Netherlands, and then someone said, because I said, it's important to feel that emotion and to, how do you say, to accept it, not maybe the right word, but that you 100% say it's allowed to be there. And really some said also, yeah, Rita, but I did it, but then for 80%. And then I did something else. And that's not it. That's not it. Not 80%, not 90%, 100. And that is the moment also that it fades out, you know, because we resist. We always resist or escape. Same thing. So important to have that. It is allowed to be there. About whom are we talking? About yourself. Yeah. Be with yourself. Be with your own story. It's a wonderful one, but we have to dive deeper. That's it. And that's the other point you see there, experiencing personal qualities. And it's the same thing as the point number 2, not only the pain, but also the qualities, because that's very important to realize. We have emotions that are acquired. They are like on the surface of our soul, but our personality, our identity is much, much older, and it has been there for a long time. But what we do in our lives is that we live on the surface, not necessary at all, or we live outside ourselves. You know, my friends can determine who I am. The opinions of others are so important. We lived like that. A friend of mine, Daddy Jenke, said that, you know, we based our lives on the opinions of others. But it's not necessary anymore. Let's be master creators. Okay, we do a meditation now on core emotion. I will do something. You can do your own thing. Huh? It's make it very experiential. Let it come up. We don't have to be afraid. We don't have to be afraid for ourselves. Of course not. Beautiful personalities. Know who you are. Okay, a meditation on core emotion. I'm sitting here with myself and also for myself. My total attention is for me. Finally, 100% attention for me. And I think about myself on a soul conscious level. I see myself in my true form, the life force of this body, the soul in the center of the forehead, radiating light. And I realize and I accept that my total story, maybe many stories, are there in me, the soul. My own history is recorded. My own present is recorded. But also my future. I've gone through a lot. Beautiful things, but also painful things. Situations of loss, situations of rejection. And I listen to myself. I open myself for myself, my sweet heart. And I give my heart a lot of space. Walls are no longer necessary. It doesn't help a thing. And I just feel what comes up. And it is allowed to be there. 400%. And then, if I'm ready for it, very gentle and in a very compassionate way, I dive deeper into my own soul, to my own origin. And again, I listen to myself and I open myself for the quality that comes up. Very silent. I just feel, what is this quality in myself? And so important to know that this quality can help me to balance, to heal that emotional pain. It's not a coincidence that this quality comes up, this personal quality of mine. And I stay in this experience of this quality of the soul, and I radiate it all around me. It's my belonging, my treasure. And in this soul conscious state, I stay. Okay, thank you. And this meditation you can do yourself. It's just a process to travel that inner journey. And then the next thing, of course, also crucial in emotional liberation, is realization and letting go. And of course, there you see it. If you are ready for it, forgive. You know, I work with a lot of women who are traumatized, and some are sexually abused. And it's only if you are ready for it that you can forgive. Else, you mustn't do it. You know, no one can force you to forgive. I can say many stories about this, you know, with all the women I worked with, but it takes too much time. But so what is important, realization and letting go. That's really important. You know, we have to realize and then to let it go. And we can do that. And I have a small practice about it. So we do it together. We are going to a beach together. And I will do that practice together with you and see how it goes. We encounter someone on the beach, someone who is mostly associated with your core emotion. Let it happen. Just see what happens on the beach with yourself and with that emotion and with that person who maybe is there. I share some practical things about this after our meditation. So we go to the beach. I'm walking on a beautiful beach. It's warm here. I feel the warm sand under my feet. And I also feel the sun and the warm seawater. And I notice that I'm quite happy with myself. I feel the power in myself, in the soul, contented with who I am and with the elements of nature around me. And I'm just walking. Feel the sun, the seawater. I feel that I am a peaceful soul, radiating peace, not only to myself, but also to nature. I'm in harmony with the 5 elements. And then I see that someone is coming to me. I don't recognize this person, but I see that someone is coming in my direction. But I feel fine. I feel contented and powerful. And that person is very determined to meet me. That I can feel. And then I recognize who it is. But it's all right. And when we are close to each other, then that person begins to speak to me. And I listen with an honest and open heart, with a heart filled with light and might. I listen to what that person has to say to me. And I give that person the time for it. And I listen. And then that person stops talking. And then I notice that I decide what to say back. I take my time for that. What do I want to say? And then I begin to talk to that person in a very peaceful way. I'm just in tune with myself, with the power inside myself, with the wisdom in myself. And I see that that other person is really listening very attentively. And I like that. That other person is really listening to what I'm saying. And then I wait if that person wants to say something back. And yes, that happens. And again, I listen, aware of myself as a soul, a powerful soul. And when that person stops, I just feel if I need to say something else, but it's not necessary anymore. It's all right like this. I'm going my own way now, my own independent way. And I turn around and I walk to that place by the trees. And I feel very fine, very contented, very much myself. And I decide to swim a little bit. Okay, thank you so much. Then we only have one thing over, the seventh tool for emotional liberation, and that is to write a letter to yourself. How am I in 2021? I asked that also to many groups, and in Italy before the COVID-19 period, I was there on Sardinia with a group of, I don't know, about 40 people or so, talking Italian. And there was one boy, he told me before that he was abused in his childhood. His father did beat him for many years. And in that group, we had the time to write that letter to yourself. And so everyone did. And that one boy began to write. And after we had then that time, and we're not going to do it now in this workshop because some do it in 5 minutes, but others take 30 or minutes or even longer. But anyway, in Italy, we had that time. So that boy was writing, and I always asked them afterwards, who likes to share something about that letter? You can do it with someone sitting next to you, or you cannot share. That's also, we are free beings, so that's also possible. But what is also possible is to do it plenary. And that boy said immediately, Rita, of course in Italian, I want to share. And a sister from Milan was translating, and but she kept quiet when he was reading that letter, and we were very attentive. Everyone was very quiet, and that boy began to talk And in that letter, we talk about the things that happened, pain, but also the qualities of the soul, what we were talking about. And then everyone is very silent, and the boy did read that letter, and then everyone began to applaud. So a letter is very important, because then you can say, sweet you, this and this and this, and now this and this and this. You know, everything what comes up is totally all right. It's like a very important letter for yourself. Many clients write that letter and put that behind their bed. So if they are alone at night, when they're going to bed, they just read it. And it's like a very important thing. Many people can use it in their lives. And about, I want to say also about that beach thing. There was one Italian lady, and she wanted to share something about that beach meditation. And she says, yeah, I don't know if I did it right, Rita, but you know, when that person was coming in my direction, I could recognize this person, and it was me. It was it. Yeah, I see someone laughing, but yeah, I encountered myself. And what happened? Because she was a very beautiful lady, but she said, "I am always so aggressive in my words. You know, verbally, I just can kill someone. So, but when I encountered myself on the beach, I realized." Now you mustn't do it anymore. You know, that verbally aggressive, it's not who I am. I am inside. There are so many beautiful things, and listen to me what I'm saying. So I encountered myself, and I said, sorry, but this is now the moment to stop it. So it can be also an encounter with yourself, you know, to realize, oh, this is a shameful event, what I'm distributing to all the friends I have. And I don't want it anymore. So everything what happens on the beach is all right, totally all right. And everything what happens in the letter is also all right. Because someone asked me, can I write a wrong letter? No wrong letters at all. It's always the best. Okay, I think we are here. You know, the 7 tools. And well, what is next?
Okay. Rita, thank you. I'd like to I guess, share the spotlight with you, if I may.
Yeah.
I said, I'd like to share the spotlight with you, if I may. Um, our light is bright, your light is bright, and thank you for shedding your journey and your work on our lights so that we can rediscover some tools to lighten our own way. And I'd like to open up this part of our workshop here before we go into our sharing aspect. But if we could, if anyone has any questions or insights that they'd like to share, we have one person that had a question regarding the core emotion. And they said that, why are we letting out our core emotion to radiate out? My core emotion wasn't exactly a pure quality of the soul. Did I understand this question correctly? The core emotion.
The core emotion, if I can explain with a practical example, a core emotion can be rejection, and that is following you as a shadow. You, in meditation, you feel that pain of rejection. You allow it to be there, but that is on the surface of your soul. So in meditation, we go deeper, and then you open that field, and then a quality comes up. I've had many hundreds of clients, and in the depth of your soul comes a quality, and that can be courage or royalty or power or integrity or wisdom. And what comes up helps you to overcome, to let go that core emotion of rejection. You know, your counterpart of that quality helps you to let it go. But you have to feel your core emotion first to allow it to be there. You know, it's like layers in the soul. We go through those layers and we hit the bottom. And we listen to that quality. A core emotion is painful and means suffering. An emotion is always linked to giving or taking sorrow. That's an indication of an emotion. But the quality just has no sorrow in it. That's why emotional healing is to go deeper to that intrinsic quality of the soul. So there are two different things: surface and our intrinsic personality.
So could you possibly say, if I were to understand, and thank you, by the way, who asked this question, whoever, but would you say that even behind the symptoms that may be dysfunctional or painful, that behind it is actually an innate quality or power or strength that we could lead us to it? Or is, you know, I want to, because this comes up sometimes in conversations, is that core quality, if it becomes imbalanced or traumatized, that it will come out in a symptomatic way that's negative.
We have to separate the two things. Core emotion is connected with taking or giving sorrow. It's painful. A quality is not painful.
Mm-hmm.
So emotional healing is that we need both of them to feel the emotion, the pain, but also to feel that strong part of our personality.
Clear, and that's actually new information for me, so thank you. for asking that question.
Mhm.
Now, there's another one here. What is the difference between coping and escapism? For example, if I go for a walk to cope, is that the same thing as escaping, or is escaping a negative behavior to cope? So
Yeah,
so I just want to finish
yeah.
in case I'm missing here. So while coping is a positive way to distract from the emotion or to feel the emotion.
Yeah, I get this question also many times, so it's good that it's in the open. An escape is really that we go away from ourselves. Shopping too much, talking too much, eating chocolate too much, addictions.
Mhm.
But what we are doing is that we are moving externally away. No healing whatsoever. We know that. If you take too much alcohol, it doesn't solve a thing. So and only you can know that, if you are eating too much or if you are shopping too much. And of course, I also had a sportsman in the group, and he said, yeah, but I like to walk and like this. And then I asked, okay, what do you think yourself? Is it an escape or not? And then he said, yeah, I use it as an escape because it's not healthy what I'm doing. So you know it yourself that you are really escaping in a negative way. Some people don't want to live any longer because they feel so much pain and they want to commit suicide. And you also know that yourself. But emotional pain is an indication, and it helps you to understand yourself. But you just need to be with that emotional pain, to feel it, what is it, and then go to your own identity. The quality of peace has nothing to do with sorrow. The quality of power has nothing to do with sorrow, but emotions has. And that's why we escape. And by the way, I want to say something more about escape mechanisms. We all know Freud and his daughter, Anna Freud. And she was talking about internal mechanisms to escape. And we also do that, to deny things or to project your own pain towards another person. We do that also.
Mhm. Yep. Thank you. Um, and then someone had asked what number 6 was, and Helene put in the chat the 7 tools, so you can see that in your chat. You can copy paste that. And number 6 was realization and letting go, and if you're ready for it, and forgive. And then there was another question here, and of course this goes with the projection mechanism.
Oh,
Well, now maybe I should preface this. Maybe I should stand out of the way. I just interpreted this question, so please forgive me. Let's just stick with the question. If someone is a hypocrite and liar, how do you stop your emotion of irritation and anger?
okay. Thank you for this question. Well, the first thing I want to say about this is that emotional healing is about yourself. We spend a lot of time correcting others, changing others, but we are the center point of emotional healing. So let's see what my feelings are and which qualities I can use. I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain. We have to think about this ourselves, because this question is what we did a long time. just to focus on others. Of course, there are boundaries in interactions. If there is negative behavior and you don't want it, okay, you have to do something about it. Many examples to give about this. But we are talking now about our own individual pain, and maybe someone can be linked to that. But what do I have to do about it? And that's why we explained the 7 tools. Just see what is my pain, to feel it, and then to balance it with the qualities of the soul that are much more deep. And the meditation from this side to there.
Thank you. So what I'm hearing is that whether it's coming from inside out or outside in, to know that these emotions can be our teachers, and that this 7-step process helps us to facilitate that energy. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then we have a question regarding what is an emotion. And this is by Sudhir, who's the mental health care professional. And we have a couple on this call or on this workshop today. And this question is, Rita, is there negative and positive emotions? Emotion is emotion. When I'm happy, I do not say I'm an emotional. So what is really emotion?
Yeah. Yeah. It's very important to understand that what is an emotion. And an emotion has always a connection with giving or taking sorrow. No other way. There is pain in that. If I say I am happy, that is not an emotion. That's a quality of the soul, happiness. I can be happy full for the 100%. There's not a painful facet in this. But in emotion, you really feel, and we know it, if we really listen to our own heart. If there is anger, maybe it has to do with someone, but it is hurting our own heart. We can feel it in our body.
Mhm. Thank you. That really makes it clear, because we, you, even as meditation teachers, and I'm sure for some of you who are mental health care professionals, and for those of you who are been on this journey of self-development for yourself, it can be confusing. And I know it's terminology, but it really helps, Rita. Thank you so much to kind of help us navigate, because it can be like seaweed trying to swim, through that. And then another aspect that Sudhir is asking too is which comes first? And maybe this is a chicken egg question.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's saying, do thoughts come first, or do emotions bring the thoughts?
Okay, there's a deep connection between thoughts and feelings. But we have, okay, here also it's important to go back to yourself. You can feel an emotion, and at that time of emotional liberation, it is important not to have too many thoughts about it. We did that, oh, this has to do, then it becomes a mental activity, but it is experiential to feel it, that emotion. And we don't need any thoughts about it to feel it. And then, of course, I can give a lecture about that. We have negative thoughts, we have negative feelings, we have pure thoughts. So it is of course interlinked, but then we have to be, how do you say, to explain what are pure thoughts, what are pure feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So pure thoughts are always connected with the qualities of the soul, the intrinsic qualities of the soul. And we have several. Peace is one of them, power, happiness, wisdom is another one. So all those qualities are intrinsic. That is very, very important to understand, to feel that at this moment, maybe you are irritating or anger is anger in you, but at the same time, there is also the quality, for instance, of peace in yourself. That's why those two factors are important. What is my emotional pain? Feel it. What is the quality? And many clients have the experience that when they feel that emotional pain and when they go deeper in meditation to that soul conscious level, when they feel, for instance, power, then that quality, that individual quality at that moment will help them to overcome irritation. And for another person, maybe sometimes happiness. I mean, I've been with so many clients, and one client was extremely happy, felt a lot of sorrow, but then came out by happiness. And like a fountain, it became like that in his soul. And he felt such a relief. And then he said, Rita, I can now let it go because that sorrow is acquired. But I am a happy soul. Individual trajectory. So we have to feel it and explore it in ourselves. We have the answers.
Thank you. So this is about parents. I'm not sure what to do with a parent that can be abusive. I continue to get triggered in their presence. No matter how resolved I feel, I always manage to get triggered and regress to that core emotion. So how do I move forward?
Yeah. Yeah, that is quite a thing. Is that person still living with his parents?
Well, since this was addressed to everyone, Rebecca, you want to put your mic on and maybe answer that?
Sure,
Or
thank
can,
you. Yeah, thank you. No, I don't live with them, but so the communication is over the phone.
Yeah. Okay. And that abusive attitude, was that a long time ago or is it still going on?
It's still going on. It happened in childhood when my mother was deep in addiction and depressed. And then she's quit the addiction, but then the depressed state just never left. And so she kind of acts from that space. And yeah, so there's just that experience of not it's just a rejection on many levels, but more than anything too, she rejects the love that I give. So it's just it's just a rejection all around.
That's quite a story. What we see with people who are addicted, doesn't matter what kind of addiction, is that there is quite an empty space inside that soul. And what I also see in my work is that if a person doesn't resolve his own pain, then he gives it to another. And most of the time, of course, they are children. So that's why emotional liberation is important, that we don't continue with that chain of pain. I hope you understand. It's important that every soul, every human being can resolve his own pain, to take that responsibility. And the person who is in that field has to think, because it is not necessary to, it is important to really have a boundary. You are too precious to get abused. You understand boundaries? Boundaries?
Boundaries.
Sometimes it takes a long time to say,
Yeah, I've noticed that for me, you know, seeing the pain that is behind the abusive behavior is what kind of keeps me, like, you know, in wanting to help and appease and kind of heal.
Yeah.
But I understand. Yeah, I know what you're saying about boundary.
Yeah. It's you remember the story I told about a boy and his parents? They were fighting and he wanted to protect his mother, but it's not his job. It's not his job.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I have a friend, and she also told me about her partner, that he was very aggressive in verbally. And she said, I always try to, because he was also abused in his young years. And she said, but Rita, I don't do it now anymore. I've been empathetic so many years, but now I really say, no, I don't want it. I really am now in the stage that I want to respect myself. I cannot, I'm not, it's not for me. It's not for me. That is also what I say to women who are raped, because they say, I feel so guilty. And then I say, no, we have to make a discrimination between what is his activity and what is my activity. You cannot say that it's the same thing. Discrimination power, that's our intellect. What belongs to this person and what belongs to me? And I'm not obliged to absorb the pain of someone else, not at all.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Rita. This is an interesting question, because to segue out of enough is enough, if someone wants to leave a relationship in spite of one's best efforts, what to do when you need to move on?
Yeah, we cannot force forgiveness, but we also cannot force someone to stay. And but what we can do is, of course, to listen to the story of someone else, and to listen to your own story, to have that interaction, but then to be very honest. We cannot possess someone, that's for sure. And we have to see what is the quality of that relation. I also have a friend who has a new partner, but it's very complementary, that relation. And she feels that relation is depleting her. So it has many factors in your life, and you have to see what is really the essence of it. but also to have wisdom. We cannot possess someone. And also, is there a need, or is there a certain picture that I have of that person, and he is not matching my perception? We have to be careful with that also. You understand, there are different things that we have to reflect on ourselves.
Thank you.
Deep questions, or yeah.
Yeah, excellent questions, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have one practical one here. Well, all are practical. I want to appreciate
Yeah.
every question, but this one is more about references. If you could recommend a good book that I guess would be spiritual based, and what's a good book, a good reference to educate ourselves that you would recommend?
I think that I point to Elizabeth, and I think that you know the many persons here, and I think that you can give advice about a book that is about the heart and spirituality.
Okay, yeah, there are many. I'd have to get the correct title and author. I don't have that available in front of me.
No, but in a later phase, you can email that person.
Yeah, and I know the person that asked the question.
Okay, very fine.
Okay. And then, of course, there was a compliment on thank you for introducing me to this process, feeling free to, let's see how, thank you very much for reintroducing me with my liberated, free-flowing self. I didn't know that it was me as I walked the beach, but the wonderful resonance allowed me to realize that I was meeting my real self.
Wow. Wow. Wonderful.
Yeah, that's
Wonderful.
powerful. Yeah, that's a life changer.
Yes, that's a life changer. Right. Yeah.
Mhm. And this is a question from Kate. Okay. Oh, if we follow this concise, emotionally liberating 7-step program, we can receive our own story and book of wisdom.
And that's totally true. I had that thought, and now she is saying it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that
You're the
that
best
was
book. You are the best book.
yeah. Yes. Thank you. Can you ask how do you deal with someone always unstable mentally how do you deal with someone who has an unstable mental condition?
The essence of emotional liberation is about ourselves. Huh?
Mhm.
Of course, if we are professionals, and some of us are, then we are helping people. But this course is about our own emotional liberation, to really focus on ourselves, our own hearts.
Okay. So
What you can do if someone is unstable, and of course also in my life there are unstable people, but then we meditate together, and everyone is, how do you say, sensitive for peace, because deep in our own souls we want peace. So to have compassion and mercy and to meditate together, that's very helpful. Yeah.
anyway, any other insights on kind of working that through with someone on the 7 steps, and perhaps about your own journey of self-discovery?
I found that we had a similar thing with my partner who was in my room,
Uh-huh.
and we had similar things, similar identity number, and similar core value. So we had a good chat.
Thank you, Rashmi. Yeah.
I
like-
had met you when I came to Vedanti Ben's retreat center there to Anubhuti.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Good. Well, good to see you again then.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to see you all the time.
Yeah. So,
Yes, that was a very good lecture, and Rita, really enjoyed it. And it's nice seeing you, Elizabeth. I've come for the retreat to your center too,
okay.
about 3 years ago.
Thank you, Pragna. Yes, this is a time to just sort of share. We have just a few minutes to share your experience and any insights, and also how we can improve the experience for you, because this is Zoom room is a new world for all of us. And I feel that we miss having that connection. So I thought, let's try it, so we can connect with someone and share. So I hope that worked for you all.
Yeah, it did. And thank you so much, Rita.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sorry if some of you were kind of stranded in a room somewhere. Sally, did you finally?
We finally found one another, and I read out the 7 steps that we went through to answer the question, and the time was up. So everyone was able to write down their seven steps. So it worked out fine.
Okay.
I wanted to share that I so appreciate breaking down these steps to heal the imprints of these negative emotions that occur over time, and to bring them to the light, and to bring them into awareness, and it really struck me. I had kind of a picture of working with soul consciousness, of really working with the qualities of soul consciousness, of being completely present in the moment, silent, peaceful, radiant, and that those aspects of soul consciousness dissolve immediate emotions that are coming up from associations of past emotions. And so we're working from the top down, and then these 7 steps are helping to really go deep into those sanskars, and then healing from the bottom up. And that there seems to be this place of meeting where we can have awareness of emotions that may come up they kind of bubble up for a moment, but they've become softer and more, I want to say, less potent, and they almost dissolve when one brings those aspects of soul consciousness to the moment. And so it was just an interesting awareness of how we are changing, the awareness that we are actually transforming, and that and that we are able, through practicing soul consciousness and meditation, to really close this gap that feels so broad sometimes between our pain and transformation. So thank you, Rita. I really appreciated the workshop.
Thank you, Sally. Sally is also a mental health care professional, if you didn't guess. But actually, no, you said that so nicely just from anyone's experience. So thank you, Sally. Because you do wonder, am I really changing? Here it is again. You know, here we go again. And on the beach was my mother. I went, oh God, here we go again. And I just, and so I just said, you know, what new is she, because she passed away less than a year ago. And I really feel that she's enlightened somehow on her journey. So I really listened with my whole heart. So that was interesting. But sometimes you think, oh gosh, I thought I was done with this.
Yeah.
And here it comes again. I mean, you must hear that from people, Rita.
Yes, I do. Yeah. Yeah.
But we don't have
Then
time.
It's not yet resolved. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's good.
Still in process, but yeah.
I have to close. We've run out of time, but I really see some wonderful comments from all of you and your experience in the chat. Now I have an offering for you. This event was recorded. I can send that to you. If you are registered, I have your email. If you did not register, I don't have a way of getting that recording to you. So if you did not register, could you please in the chat, you can make it personal to Anubhuti, private, you know, and just send me your email and I'm happy to send you a recording of today's session. And so Rita, would you like to close with anything or at least some silence together to honor our time together?
Well, we close with a beautiful meditation with music.
Yes.
Yin will do that. And I really appreciate it very much that I was with all of you. And I also, yeah, I want to thank you for your participation and to open yourself and to heal, to give you the opportunity to create life. So thank you also from my part.
Oh yeah, and to everyone too for being here. I know that's what you meant, but I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you everyone. So let's enjoy a closing meditation. Okay?
Yes.
And thanks to Helene. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to mention about Helene, and she's the technician behind the curtain there. And she's also been a meditation teacher for 19 years and an educator. Thank you, Helene. Om Shanti. Are we waiting for music? It's fine.
Yeah. It's coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. Let the water wash away your tears. Let the fire burn away your fears. Let the wind blow into your life such faith and trust. Oh, let the earth hold you, take care of you, and nurture you. Oh, the power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on earth. Let the water wash away your tears. Let the fire burn away your fears. Let the wind blow into your life such faith and trust. Oh, let the earth hold you, take care of you, nurture you.
All the best.